Hello everyone and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of version 31.24 of the YETTER, presented by BS Upshot and the Bucks County Disc Golf Alliance. My name is Mike Grofsick and I am joined in the virtual booth today by Brett Hensley. Who are we looking at on the lead card here, Brett?
Hey, thanks Mike. Excited to call one of the premier disc golf events in our area today with you. Today on lead card, on our feature card, we have Rick Sassaman, a local to the area, Lance Trott, Jesse Koch-Laskowski, and Zachary Tesone, over 1,000 rated players. So we should have some good quality guys on this card. And we're starting on the west side today. It's a par 72. We've got a field of 36 MPO players. We're starting out, usually we start on the east, but we're starting on the west due to some staffing and spotter issues, having more in the morning. So we're going to start here, hole 19, and Rick's going to kick things off.
Thanks, Brett. We'll take a look at the first drive of the day here from Rick. And he hits the gap pretty nicely with the backhand hyzer. It's a nice little skip through the brush there and appears to be maybe just outside of circle one, maybe right on the edge.
Yeah, it's a quality drive there from Rick. It's hard to do better than that. You have a really stiff hill slope there. Trying to get your disc to hyzer up that hill slope, land flat, give yourself a little putt. Now we've got Lance on the tee. He's going to go a little early left and unfortunately makes contact with a tree there on the left side. He's going to have to really scramble to save his par from there.
Yeah, that's the decision you have to make off the tee of how far inside you want to push. Obviously, you need to get your disc really moving left. Unfortunately, he pushed it a little too far and hit that tree. Jesse takes a little bit of a wider route, but also catches a tree and gets a really unfortunate roll all the way back down the hill. That's going to be a really tough par save.
Yeah, that's a pretty brutal, tough break to start your round there. Hopefully you can scramble up the hill. And then finally, we're going to have Zach here. It's like he made the same mistake that Lance did, unfortunately, connecting with an early tree. It's like Rick's really the only one in position to kind of have a birdie opportunity.
Yeah, and you kind of see why that happened because, like you said, Rick had a great shot, but he's still kind of pushing edge of circle. It was really the two guys that tried to really push that inside line and get all the way to the basket that ran into trouble with the trees. As we see the follow-up shot from Lance here gets knocked down by another tree, and that's most likely looking at bogey unless he has a nice throw in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that looked like a great line, but just connecting with a tree there. It's like that was Jesse coming out of the woods. He did a really good effort there to at least give himself a circle two look on the putt to hopefully try and save his par.
Yeah, he kind of did something with nothing there. That was not a bad out from Jesse there. As we see Lance's follow-up up into, looks like deep circle one.
I still haven't gotten to Rick's drive. This looks like Jesse trying to save his par. And unfortunately, he's a little over top of the basket. He's going to have to settle for bogey.
And we now finally are going to get to Rick's drive. We'll see if he could cash in on a hot start and card the only birdie here. And he's lining up a stepper, so he is just outside C1, it looks like. Some bushes to contend with in his swing. And unfortunately just catches pretty much the nubs of the basket. Almost got it high enough.
See what Zach's left here with little edge of circle bid, and he's able to convert for his par. Good par save there from Zach to start his round. That putt's got to feel really good on the first hole.
Yeah, tough start with the drive off the tee, hitting that early tree, but cashing in on the decently far par putt is nice, as we see Lance unfortunately miss off to the right, and that's not the way you want to start, as I think that'll leave him with a double bogey.
We'll have Jesse clean up his bogey, Rick tap in for a par, and then Lance tapping in for his double, unfortunately. So saw a little bit of everything there on the first hole, kind of give you a little taste of what Tyler has to offer in this layout.
Yeah, you're not getting out of any hole easily, even at the MPO level. So let's see what we're looking at with hole 2 here, Brett.
Yeah, so we're moving to hole 20 again on the west side. Par 4, 422 feet. Actually push the tee box back about 60 feet, so you have to, you're further away from the gap you need to hit. You'll see Rick's going to line up probably a backhand turnover, probably a slower disc to try to get it moving right towards the basket. There's definitely opportunity for eagle here.
Let's see if he can hit that gap. He does hit it pretty well. Looks like he's getting some late turn out of that disc. That looked like a gorgeous shot. He really knew exactly what that disc was going to do. It might have pushed a little deep on the side there, but he's still going to take that all day. He'll have an actual eagle look from maybe 80, 90 feet.
Yeah, that's a great straight shot from Rick. I think to get the eagle, you either need to throw a forehand or a really late turning backhand. And we'll see Zach's lining up a big forehand. He's got through the gap. Let's see if that can push through the trees. Oh, and he's way down there to the right. I think he kind of outdrove the basket a little bit and ended up behind those log piles. He should have a look for eagle from back there, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, based on where the cameraman was standing on the last shot, on Rick's shot, he seemed to be kind of pushed behind the basket. So for him to turn around, that was a heck of a forehand from Zach there. Jesse's going to find his way down towards the basket. A very nice drive. Give himself, again, a long eagle look.
So far, everyone's in position to at least chip up for their birdie. And finally, we'll have Lance here throwing a forehand. Unfortunately, he pulled that over to the left. It looked like he got through at least, though, and he did progress down the hill, so he should have something over there, hopefully to get up and down for his birdie as well. But he's definitely going to be first out.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about holes like this where, there's very, very legitimate eagle looks is that you really can't afford to take a par. You're still losing strokes on the field with a par. You really want to try to push it and make sure you have an easy chance at a birdie.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is actually the easiest hole on the course. 72% of the field scored birdie or better.
Yeah, I definitely think this is one of those tweener holes where at the MPO level especially, it could just be called a par 3, and it would be a very tough par 3, but it could just be a par 3.
Oh, and Zach's eagle bid just caught metal there. It looked like he hit maybe the bottom of the basket. That looked like a good putt. Dead center, just a little low. But it looks like everyone will have pretty manageable putts here for birdie if Lance can connect here. Solid putt there from Lance. Good comeback from his first hole with the double bogey.
Yeah, that's a nice birdie for Lance because, like I was saying, his drive wasn't the best, and it left him in a spot where par was a real possibility. And when everybody else is just tapping in for birdie, having to kind of scramble for your par a little bit is not fun. So really nice birdie from Lance there.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're going to walk away with a star frame here. Shout out to the two Eagles today, Matt Bruder and Eric Moll. So that takes us to hole 20. This is the shortest hole on the Yetter, coming in at 175 feet. Par 3. Everyone's probably going to be throwing a putter right over this log pile through the gap and hopefully turning a little bit to the right if they can. So you'll see it's like Rick will be lining up, I think, a force over here.
Yeah, he did go with the force over. Caught a nice line, but got pushed off to the right a little bit. Must have been a very overstable putter, maybe a zone or something of that nature.
I actually think that's his Withers Gator. Really overstable disc.
Okay.
And Lance is going to line up, Zach's going to be lining up a forehand here, hoping to fade out to the right. It's like he's executed it pretty well. Great shot there from Zach. He'll have about 20 feet for his birdie.
Yeah, Zach is definitely working with a very smooth forehand. Big part of his game for sure. As Jesse tries the same forehand approach and unfortunately just catches a pretty early tree.
Yeah, just never kind of looked comfortable there. Kind of pulled it over to the left, unfortunately. He'll have to scramble to save par. It's a short hole, but there are a lot of trees in the beginning. Now, finally, we'll have Lance here lining up a forehand, trying to follow the same trail as Zach. Looks like he he had the gap lined up. It was just a little bit too high with that lower ceiling there. We should have an easy up and down for par.
Yeah, it's the tricky thing about a short hole like this, going with the forehand. You're kind of in between discs a little bit potentially, and it looked like he just got his a little nose up into that ceiling, even though he had the line right.
Yeah, there's a good recovery shot there from Lance. We'll have a little bit of work left on that putt, but it should be pretty manageable.
See if Rick can cash in on his birdie here. Looks right about edge of circle again. He's been there a couple times already. And he does cash in on that one. Very nice putt from Rick to get his back-to-back birdies.
Solid putt, absolutely. We'll see here if Zach's still a little bit closer, so Lance's upshot putt did go a little bit far. See if he can connect for par. Yep, solid putt there from Lance.
Lance's initial throws haven't been what he's wanted so far, but he has done fairly well on the putting green to recover from them. So that's a good start for him. Hopefully his drives will get on the right track as Jesse cashes in his par from about 15 feet or so.
Yeah, that's a good save from back where he was. It's definitely a tricky upshot. And finally, we'll get to Zach here to tap in for his birdie. Move himself to 2 under on the round, hopefully to match Rick. And he connects, and we've got a couple guys under par through the first 3. Jesse will be even, and Lance will be looking to bounce back at +1.
Yeah, decent start for the guys. We're going to check in on the leaderboard through 3 holes. We have Matt Bruder at 4 down with that eagle on hole 2. Justin Rozak at 3 down and Kyle Bedell at 3 down. And the rest of the leaderboard is pretty close. So tell us what we have on hole 22, Brett.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So hole 22 is a 422-foot par 4. You have an immediate tunnel gap off the tee. You want to get your disc moving a little bit to the left, hopefully staying on the fairway or fading out a little bit more left, as that'll open up your approach to the basket on the top of the hill.
And Rick's drive never really looked like doing anything other than hitting that tree right in the middle there. He's kind of lined up with it the whole way.
Yeah, that's the one you got to miss, either right side or left side. See Zach's lining up his drive. He's going higher than Rick, and that looks like he's completely pured the gap. He's way up there, probably by the A pin, so he'll have a really manageable up and down from there.
We'll see if Jesse could follow suit. You see him putting the towel down. A little better grip on the tee box. Some players like to do that. And an early release and catches the left side of a tree, which is not where you want to be. He gets pushed into the thick rough in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you can even go left of that tree and progress further down the fairway. That's those 2 right there in the middle are the ones that you got to miss, either right or left. And looks like Lance is going to show us the forehand turnover line here. See if you can get it to hold. Unfortunately, he connects on the same tree that Jesse did, so they'll both be scrambling from there, try to save their par.
Can't quite see it from this angle, but doesn't look like Jesse has a big opening to aim for here. No, not really. It does look like he finds his way through it okay, though. Yeah, he's back out into the fairway. I think you'd have to call that a pretty good overall recovery shot from Jesse there.
Yeah, solid progression for sure. It's kind of just what you're hoping for from back here, just to get through clean and then be able to have a small upshot to save your par. And it looks like Lance went kind of big hyzer, and he actually progressed 2 up the green. So him and Jesse should both have manageable upshots there to save par.
Yeah, that was really nice from Lance. He put that on a very steep hyzer, almost a spike hyzer, really, but he got enough distance on it to really push himself up the fairway. So he'll have a good look at that par save. That was well done. As Rick goes in pretty close to the basket. Not a whole lot wrong with that after hitting the tree on the opening shot. Very nice one there.
Yeah, great shot from Rick. And Jesse's going to look to play this right side Hyzer, but I think he pulled it a little too far off to the right, unfortunately. I think he may have gotten basket high, but he might be obstructed for his putt.
Yeah, as soon as he let go of it there, he looked like he might have grip locked it. I think he was a little disappointed with how late that release was, as we see Zach lining up his forehand, and it looks like he caught one of those early trees and pushed left. He's going to be, I think, deep circle two. So definitely not what he wanted after that great drive.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's going to be disappointed in that effort. Oh, it looks like Lance, unfortunately, oh, he hit the tree inside the circle, but then rolled probably another 25 feet back. So he's going to be deep circle two to save his par.
As we see Zach lining up his circle two putt from the edge of the rough. Got a couple trees to get between.
Oh, from downtown.
Just showing why he's 1,000 rated. That is a putt that you're not going to see a lot of people make, and he put it center chains. So very well done from Zach.
That was absolutely beautiful. It's that hill is steeper than it looks, and he was straddle putting, so he got a lot on that to connect right in the chains. Great putt from Zach. Yeah, it looks like, as I said, Jesse's kind of in there. He's probably going to have to straddle out. I think he may have gotten pin high, but he's probably going to be maybe just outside the circle on this look. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a tree in the way as well, so he's just kind of pitching out, resigned to take his bogey.
Yeah, unfortunately, not much else he could do on that one. I don't think he really had the line he needed to get to the basket, so just making sure he keeps it close and doesn't let it roll down the hill at all. Lance is just on the edge of C2, C1, C2, with his jumper.
Oh, and Rick tapped that in a little high on the basket, a little nervy there, especially with the hill behind him, but luckily the basket caught it, so he'll go home with his par there. Or actually, birdie. That's right. Rick had that great upshot, so Rick is now 3 of 4, as well as Zach. Really great starts to their yetter.
Yeah, whenever you get a putt like that you kind of flub a little bit and still goes in, I don't know about other players, but I always find myself waiting for when the course is going to take it back from me.
Yeah, for sure. And Tyler will have opportunities to do that. So this hole 23 is a downhill 369-foot par 3. You want to throw a putter or mid-range kind of straight out the gap and let it fade a little bit to the left. You'll see there's a kind of a tree in the middle with a log pile on the left. You can throw to the left or right of that tree, and then you're just looking for your disc to fade out.
Rick, fresh off his turkey birdie, is looking to keep adding to his score. Makes his way down pretty far, but it sounded like he might have hit a late tree there, but he should have some kind of look, and if not, a pretty easy up and down for par.
Yeah, I think he kicked off to the right. Sometimes you can get into some thick rough on either the left or right side, and you're only left with kind of like an overhand, so we'll have to see what he's left with. Here's Zach lining up his drive, and he's going to the left of the tree over the log pile. And unfortunately connects with a tree, but he's still out in the open, and he'll have a long look for birdie from there. The basket is a little elevated, so it does make this putt a little tricky with a little bit of a slope behind the basket as well.
Jesse trying to recover from his bogey on the last hole. Pretty much pures the line. We'll see if it can stay late, and it does right up near the basket. Should be a fairly easy birdie putt for Jesse. A really nice bounce back from the bogey.
Absolutely fantastic drive there. Couldn't really throw a better shot than that. And finally, we'll have Lance here. He kind of pulls it off to the right. There is a line over there if it gets through clean, but unfortunately, that's more of a fall line, and the summer trees are just going to kind of grab that and bring it down. So he's going to be approaching from far back.
And that's a good upshot. I think he might have put it on a little bit more Anheuser than he wanted to, which kept him kind of towards the edge of circle one, but definitely still put himself in a spot to get the par.
And as he said, it looked like Rick was able to find a little bit of fairway, so that's a little bit of good luck there. But his shot's a little low, but it does scoot up, so that should be a manageable putt.
Yeah, he got it up there a little bit. I'm still not sure how happy he's going to be with that approach. It looked like he did leave himself a little short. Zach pitches up.
Oh, unfortunate, hitting the top of the basket there by Lance. So he's going to have a comeback, or as I mentioned, there's a little bit of a slope back there, so you can see his disc kind of rolled off.
Yeah, that's definitely not where you want to put yourself when you were already on the green. And unfortunately, he cannot recover on the comebacker, so he is going to drop a couple strokes there.
I think Lance is going to have to kind of figure out his putting stroke, get it going. It's been a little bit cold to start the round. Good tap in there from Jesse. Great drive, getting his birdie, getting back to even par.
Lance taps in for his unfortunate double.
We should have a couple of par putts here from both Zach and Rick.
And I will go back and give Rick credit. The camera angle. Oh, that another commentator's curse. I was going to say the camera angle on the upshot made it look further than it was. He was actually pretty close. And right as I'm saying that comes the air ball, which is unfortunate for all involved.
Yeah, and he's got a long putt to save his bogey here. Oh, unfortunately comes up a little short. He's going to take a double. That's two really unnecessary strokes, and he knows it. He's going to have to work hard to make up for those.
And that is interesting from someone who was playing very well to that point. He hadn't really shown any signs of being off his game prior to that. And then just the airball 10-footer you don't really expect.
Yeah, hoping to make up for it here on hole 24, which is a short par 5, 551 feet. It is a dogleg left out of the tee pad shot. You want to progress to the fairway so that your upshot can get through, potentially through all these trees. There's definitely an eagle play here if you can make the corner. But really all that's necessary, and Jesse's kind of showing that right here. You don't need to get left. You just kind of need to get to that down log, and that'll set you up nicely, get you in position for a birdie.
Yeah, you can see with the height of that shot, he really wasn't trying to bite off too much. Just wanted to make sure he stayed in the fairway, gave himself a good look on the second shot, which on a short par 5 is really all you need.
Yeah, and great height there from Zach, just getting over the log. He'll be in really good position. The ground also really flattens out up there a little bit more, so he should have a good stance on that hillside.
We'll see how Rick can bounce back from his putting woes. Looks pretty good so far if he can keep rounding that corner. Yeah, it's a fantastic shot there from Rick. It's going to put him in a really good position for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Matching Zach there on the top of the hill. We'll see what Lance is going to do. Just kind of hopefully follow suit there. Yeah, not trying to make the corner so much, getting up top there. He didn't go as far left, but I think he'll be okay where he's at on the upper side of the hill there.
Yeah, we'll wait to see the angle on that one. It was definitely a good drive. He hit the gap, but he might have just pushed a little too straight instead of, like you said, fading out left as Jesse throws a nice second shot there, keeping himself in the fairway.
That's absolutely. It's really three good golf shots to get your birdie. You don't really have to, go for the eagle on this one unless you're really in position making that corner. Oh, and that's a really good forehand. He's gotten pretty far down the fairway, I believe. Great shot there from Lance. He should have a nice look to get up and down for his birdie.
Yeah, even with that slight roll down the hill, I think he's still going to be really happy with that result. Put himself back into position as Zach hits the tree kind of in the middle of his shot, so he did gain some ground, but not as much as he would have liked.
And Rick kind of pulled it off to the right. It got through, but I think he's going to be in the rough.
Yeah, I think we actually just barely caught him there on the mic saying too much. I think he turned it over more than he would have wanted for that flex line, as Jesse unfortunately throws his first poor shot of the hole, hitting a tree and dropping down pretty short.
Looks like Zach's going to have a forehand line here off to the left, hoping to fade back right towards the basket. And he's executed that beautifully. I think he's right behind the basket. There is a little hill with OB Road back there, but usually if you do go a little long on the ground, the hill will just kind of collect it there in the rocks. So he should have a circle putt for his birdie.
And then Rick thrown with the uneven footing stance that everyone loves, and he looks like he comes up a bit short. He's going to be behind that stump up there.
Yeah, it looked like he was just trying to pitch out, get back in position to save his par. And Jesse will have a long jump putt look, and he gave that a healthy bid. That's going to be down the hill. Hopefully, he'll only have about 20 feet left for his par.
Yeah, it's a tough hole for that type of shot. He really tried to get himself the birdie, but he might have left himself a little meat on the bone for the par. So we'll see how that works out, as Lance is just going to pitch up and make sure of that par.
Rick's left with just a longer approach, but that should be good enough to save his par.
And Zach continues the hot putter for his birdie.
A fantastic putt there from Zach. It looks like Jesse's got a straddle around this little tree. Tyler has a lot of greens that are really well guarded, so you really got to bring a good straddle putt or craft putt game. Yeah, great concentration there from Jesse to bang that in for his par.
Yeah, he looked very comfortable there. That's why it's important to have a routine, really get yourself into a rhythm. And then that was, okay, I thought so. I was going to correct, but I wanted to wait to see. That was actually for birdie for Lance. I forgot he had that really, really good second shot that put him up close.
Yeah, let's check in on the leaderboard through 6 holes. We see Matt Bruder still at the top there with Justin Rosak and Kyle Bedell. We've got a couple of guys on our card that are just right behind there. Zach and Rick both throwing really good rounds to start. So here we are, hole 25, the island hole, 330 foot par 4. If you go OB left or right out of the island, you progress to the drop zone, which is maybe about 250 feet short of the basket. So these guys are going to be looking to throw maybe some controlled mid-ranges up here to this basket, and it looks like Zach's done it to perfection there. He'll just have a little uphill, maybe 20-footer for his birdie.
Yeah, can't really do it a whole lot better than that. Sticking the island and giving yourself a real birdie look. As Lance catches some foliage and does make it back in.
What
nice
a break
from Lance there.
Absolutely. You take those when you can get them. Next, we have Jesse on the tee. And he's throwing a nice turnover here. Hopefully it holds over. Oh, unfortunately, it stabled out on him, and that's probably going to be OB. I didn't see a graphic, so maybe he got lucky and got a nice tree kick back in bounds.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait to see on that one because it looked for sure like it was headed out of bounds. So we'll have to see what happened there. Rick is going to come up a little short. I think he got through the thick part of the tree there, but it just took off enough steam that it dropped down before it could cross the inbounds area.
Yeah, so Rick's going to proceed to this drop zone, and really no chance of saving your par unless you throw it in. He'll be looking just get up and down for his bogey. And he almost overcooked that, but luckily he rested on the bricks there, so he'll be in bounds. He'll get a meter, and hopefully he can save his bogey from there.
Yeah, and it looks like Jesse did kick down in bounds, not going from the drop zone, so he caught a lucky break there, and he'll look to cash in on it to save his par.
A great break there. And Lance, there we go, getting on the board again with another birdie, bringing himself to only 2 over par after kind of that slow start. So really good back-to-back holes there for Lance.
Yeah, he caught a lucky break, getting through the right side there and getting back in bounds. But that's what you have to do when the course gives you a break. You have to take full advantage of it, and getting the birdie with a nice 25-footer, after that happened is definitely a good way to do it. We're going to see Rick try to save his bogey, which is not the worst result after going OB by missing the island, as it's a very tough drop zone, and he kind of wobbles that one in the bottom left pocket there.
Yeah, solid putt there from Rick. You don't want to take another double bogey, especially when you're trying to chase down Zach after his hot start here. So it looks like he's really in position to take another birdie. And there it is. Zach is 5 down through our first 7 holes. So that's a blistering start.
Yeah, I think most people would sign up to be 5 down through 7 on the west side of Yetter. So he's definitely going to be smiling heading to hole 8. Jesse taps in his par, which is a nice save from the almost OB drive. And that will bring us over to the 8th hole, the front 9. What do we have here, Brett?
Hole 26, it's a 648 par 5. There's actually a new pin position. As you see, the basket used to be up on that anthill, but now it's pushed back into this clearing about maybe 150 to 200 feet, extending it to a par 5. So a lot of danger on this hole. No OB, just a lot of natural OB that the players are going to be fighting through. You can see the play here is really a forehand to get through that left gap, which we're going to see Zach throw here, hopefully fading out to the right. And that looks absolutely picture perfect. What a shot. He's going to be in play for likely an eagle from there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's a heck of a drive for sure. Can't really walk down the course and place it any better than that. And that's kind of shown by Lance's there, which was a good drive and came up maybe 80 to 100 feet short of Zach's. So that really just goes to show how good Zach's was.
Yeah, absolutely. Lance with a great drive there. It's hard to do much better than that. And Jesse's following here. Okay, he got out the gap, and that's a fine spot as well. So he'll be maybe a little bit further back than Lance, but still in good position.
It looks like Rick is going to show us the backhand force over. We'll see which gap. He is going to the right side, so not as much a force over, just kind of a flippier disc, and he's going to hope it keeps and holds that turn. It looks like he's out to a decent spot.
Yeah, not bad result. As someone who does not throw any forehands, I can attest that this is a very difficult hole for backhand players trying to throw through that right side. So we'll see what Rick is left here. It looks like he's a little to the left of where you want to be, but he's throwing a nice force over, trying to get to that anthill. Unfortunately, comes up a little short, but he should be able to get up and over that and maybe still be able to catch a birdie.
Jesse lining up his second shot, again with the backhand force over, and he also hits, I believe might have been the same clump of trees that Rick hit there. And he's going to drop down a little short of that anthill.
Yeah, good height, good line, just unfortunately a little to the left and hitting a small tree branch. Oh, and it looks like Lance has just gotten over the anthill. Great shot there. He's in position for his birdie.
Yeah, really nice forehand flex line there from Lance. It looked like it might have been coming in a little low, but he was able to just crest that anthill, and then it drops down on the other side, which let him still get a full flight out of it. As Zach is also going to line up the forehand flex. And he's going to put it down to maybe, call it 60 feet or so, mid to deep C2 it looked like.
Yeah, that's... I haven't seen anyone play the hole. I know it's a relatively new position, but Zach... he's way down there in just 2 strokes. And Rick with a nice forehand getting up and over the hill. He should have a look from there.
Yeah, Rick's played the hole pretty well too, and he's in 3 shots where Zach is in 2, so that kind of goes to show you just how well Zach did on this hole as Jesse catches some more foliage up top there. Shot probably came out a little higher than he wanted. He's going to drop down and still need to have a decent approach in order to save his par.
So he's got a little chip side hand here, trying to get up to that log, and he does it so successfully. That's a really good upshot there.
Lance with a little bit more of a gap to aim for. He's going to float that backhand up there and puts himself to a decent spot. Looks like maybe about 18 to 20 feet behind the basket there.
Yeah, good upshot. And we have an eagle look here from Zach from maybe about 40 feet. Oh, and he cans it for the first eagle on our card. Wow, fantastic putt. That could potentially be the first eagle on this hole ever. What a start Zach is having at 7 down already through 8. Incredible.
Yeah, it's really hard to play any hole much better than that.
Absolutely, and Rick giving him a little love there. See if he can can this putt from a little bit closer, but still probably outside the circle.
Taking his time with his routine. He draws a little bit of metal, just comes up a little bit short, needed some more height on that one.
Oh, unfortunately, Lance pushed that maybe a little left side and it didn't catch. And that's going to cost him a stroke, unfortunately.
Jesse looking at it a little uphill. And he does find the basket to save his par.
Good par there from Jesse. And unfortunately, Lance is going to have to settle for par as well, and Rick. So we'll move off on to hole 27 here. 640-foot par 4. The shot here is really to just kind of get in position up over the hill to the left, landing on the fairway.
So Zach with a very nice backhand straight up the gap. It looks like he might have pushed it a little far, but catches a break and gets pushed right back into the fairway. Sometimes when things are going well, they're just going really well.
Yeah, fortunate break there from Zach. I don't think he really needs much of a break, but take him when you can get him. And here's Lance trying to get in position there. It's pulled off to the right a tiny bit, but he should have something from over there. It's probably going to be tough to get up and down for a birdie, but par is definitely in play.
Jesse's on a bit of a par streak here, so he's going to be looking to put this one in position. But unfortunately, he hits an early tree on the right, and it looked like he kicked out into the rough. It's going to be a very tough par save from there.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of small trees on the left. You'd rather miss right on this. There is an OB road on the right, so you got to be a little bit careful of that. But yeah, it looks like Rick is also going to end up on the left side over there. Probably just having to pitch out along the fairway to get back in position. We'll see what they have.
And this is Jesse buried in the bushes here, trying to get his way out with a sidearm, which it looks like he does pretty well. He does catch a tree there at the end, but it looked like the disc was kind of at the end of its life anyway, so shouldn't have taken too much off the distance.
And here's Lance with a great forehand. Wow, he's way down there. You can see the basket's kind of on a sloped hill, so it's going to be a tough putt. He'll have the option to run that or just lay up and take his par.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable throw from Lance there. I think he might have been close enough to really have a good look at the putt as Rick moves up through the left side again here, maybe trying to shortcut the hole a little bit, but I don't think he got as far as he wanted there.
And we get to Zach's nice spot on the fairway here, right by that drinking fountain. And it comes out low, unfortunately, but it does stay on the fairway, so he should have a fairly routine up and down for par.
Yeah, as well as Zach's been playing so far, which is really well. He's had a couple of those shots that he looks like he just kind of maybe lost concentration for a second and just didn't get it where he wanted.
And unfortunately, Jesse just kind of pitched out to the right, hit one of these trees, but at least you can see, and he's facing the basket. Forehand's a good option because of the slope of the green, and he gets it to the rocks, so he'll have an uphill putt at the basket. Definitely the safer option of the putt.
See if Zach can recover here to keep his scorecard clean. Looked like maybe a little bit of an early release. Yeah, and he's going to roll down the hill quite a ways, unfortunately. I think he would probably have preferred to release a little later, been a little lower down the hill. But a bit of a bad break there.
Yeah, tough break. And you can see Rick kind of leaked to the left, off of the left side fairway down the hill. Luckily, he progressed pretty far, so I don't think he had that far of a throw. And unfortunately, he went into the other side rough, so he's left with nothing but a pitch out to the basket.
Yeah, he's just going to have to settle for the tap-in bogey there. See if Zach can recover and keep his scorecard clean. And he can. His putting has been absolutely top-notch so far. In the bushes, C2. Doesn't seem to matter to him at the moment. They're all going in the basket.
Without a doubt. And this is played as the second most difficult hole, averaging 0.6 strokes over par. So you take par all day. on this green. And a great putt there from Jesse just to get his bogey in.
And then we are actually going to see Lance tap in for his birdie here after that absolutely brilliant second shot.
Yeah, fantastic from Lance. There was only one other birdie on this hole, Bob Mills. So shout out to Lance and Bob Mills for getting a birdie on 27.
And that is going to bring us to the end of the first half of round one on the front nine. As we can see, Zach is leading the way at 7 under. We'll see if there's anyone matching his pace so far, and there's not. Justin Rozak, Curtis Taves are behind at 6 down. Kyle Bedell and Bo Lee at 5 down are the ones closest to striking distance on Zach. Brett, any thoughts on the front nine?
That was the Zach Tesone show. I mean, just lighting that front nine on fire. I don't know if I've seen a hotter score on the front side of West.
Yeah, he definitely started hot out of the gates. Thank you to our sponsors, Elevation Discs. And remember to check out the back nine coming up next and subscribe to HyzerMedia for all disc golf content.